everybody, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another video. Hello again. Slightly better. So I've got book mail. Yes, I don't want to show you my dress, but I've got book mail, and one of them is the topic of this video. But let me see. There's This Book Could Save Your Life by Ben West. It's about breaking the silence around the mental health emergency in like the UK. And I've followed Ben West on like Instagram and like campaigns and things he's done for quite a few years now. His brother sadly committed suicide in 2018, his younger brother. And he's done so much work for like mental health, specifically like men's mental health and like younger people in the UK. And I really wanted to get his book to not only to support him because he has done so much, but also because I do suffer quite like with mental health problems myself, and lots of people I know do as well. So hopefully it might have some tips and information to help, you know. This it's like I'm literally on chapter 1. Like at the introduction made me like almost get to tears, but this, I don't know, it's just I honestly don't know if I can continue. Like it's just topics like this just really get to me so much. It's like I haven't even got to like the actual suicide part yet. It's just Ben, he's talking about like childhood memories and stuff, and it's just, I don't know, it's just about how he's talking about like his brother and how they used to go on holidays to the Isle of Scilly, and his brother would make like little like handmade model sailing boats of like driftwood and sell them, and how he was a really talented artist. We'll definitely try and get through some more. I just have to take a break because I just get so emotional so quickly about things. Oh God. I'm probably not going to post this because, as I tell everybody, it's just the most ugliest crier. Oh God. I've given myself a migraine now from crying. It's, I can already see how important this book is, and all I've read is like 26 pages, and like, I'll see you in the next update. Hopefully I'm more composed than this mess. Bye. A little update on this book because I went back to reading some more because it like, as much as it makes me emotional and cry and just my head fills with stuff, it's like he said he's surprised it's written, but it is written exceptionally well. It's written with such poise and brilliance. But anyway, I just wanted to read this little bit because it's so nice. And that's what Sam and I did have in common. We loved a good laugh. Whether it was a prank, a joke, or some general silliness, Sam was not only very funny, he also had an infectious chuckle. Sometimes, when he worked out why he was laughing, even if the joke made you cringe and was seriously close to crossing a line, the fact he found it so funny would make you crack up nevertheless. Wish me luck for the rest of this book. The second chapter, which details the actual account of Sam's suicide. And it is hard to read, but as he said at the start, we're just reading it. He lived it. And like, it matters that it's shared and read and understood and like taken in. Everyone's story matters, and it doesn't matter how hard it is to listen to or think about. We're not actually living it, you know. And then I've come to like the end of his account, and he wrote, in 2018, 6,500 people took their own life in the UK, and how it is easy to become numb to statistics, especially when they're so big. This is a graphic that represents all the 6,500 people that died by suicide in 2018. Each of these is a life lost, but then connected to each one is like a ripple effect that affects up to thousands and thousands more. Yeah. It's so difficult to read, but it's hard to explain things like this, because I feel so emotional, but I understand the need for things like this and books like this and content and questions and discussions about these topics, and how vital it is that everyone should be understanding and talking about it, no matter how harrowing it is. Because if we ever do want change, things need to be discussed. The opinions need to be shared and changed. And so I'm on to chapter 3 now, and this is about like the aftermath of some suicide, and quite a lot of it is about how there is no correct way of grieving or dealing with trauma, and I think it's addressed really well. And there's a certain bit that literally, like, my face just I really understood it so much. So it's really weird. So, okay, so I want you to do something for me right now, please. Do it with me, okay? Put on a massive smile. Letting your face lighten up. Maybe even let out a small jackal. Make sure the smile reaches your eyes, okay? Smile with your eyes. It's quite easy, isn't it? Yeah, I can do this easy. But sometimes it's much easier to do that than it is to break down and expose your raw emotions. But the mask always slips. Of course. Because it is a mask sometimes. Smiling and, you know, putting on this brave face for everyone. And not always just in a response to trauma, but in a response to not wanting to show your true, raw, real emotions with people. And yeah, I don't know, this bit just really stuck with me, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So, when people are always smiley and happy, doesn't mean they are. I have another bit I want to read to you. It's a snippet of Ben's speech that he said at his brother's memorial service. Normal. Is it good enough? We've got so used to normal that we have forgotten what that really means. We paint a glossy cover over a dark, twisted truth. Normal is hearing jokes about someone's appearance. Normal is mocking people that are different. Normal is laughing at people who aren't like you. Normal is belittling depression and mental illness. Normal is criticizing people's every move. Normal is pushing others down to raise yourself up. Normal hurts people. I've been so desperate to get back to normal, but I don't want to rebuild that. I don't want to go back to that normal. Mental illness can strike anyone. It doesn't matter who you are or what you've done. It can defeat the strongest soldiers. Don't try to fit in. Try to be the best version of yourself that you can be. Don't follow the crowds. Grab life by the horns and live it to the best of your ability, because if I've learned anything from this experience, it's that life can be taken away in a heartbeat. Sam will be remembered forever and mourned endlessly. I'll leave you with a quote. In the end, it's not the years in your life that counts, it's the life in your years. This part is specifically about like male mental health and the importance of disregarding this idea of like illusion of like toughness, which we have put so much emphasis on for men for so many years, and how like it's just a constant barrier to men to actually share their emotions and, you know, speak out on how they're feeling and why, and then how it's I haven't actually read this yet, but I'm guessing it's gonna sort of talk about that, about how like it's such a problem, like male suicide, and like how that's a lot, like a major way that men feel that they can get rid of their, like, well, not get rid of, but deal with mental health struggles, because they don't feel it's manly or have the space and ability to talk about their mental health, because it's seen as unmanly to have feelings and emotions and stuff. And then why suicide is sort of like a way out, because when you're not talking about it, are you? You're acting. And yeah, well, I just want to read this bit. There is an expectation built upon traditional notions of masculinity that says men should act in a certain way. We have created a population that values stoicism and a fabricated illusion of toughness over the ability to cry, to be vulnerable, and to not be okay. We value the unnatural suppression of emotion over the ability to be human. The suppression of emotions is celebrated as a sign of toughness, when actually recognizing and expressing emotions is what's genuinely tough and takes courage. This man, my head, I mean, it just makes so much sense. It's just like, why? Like, I don't understand why like showing emotions is so unmanly and like wrong. Like, why is that? Like, it's just so dangerous and unnecessary and stupid, and I know things are changing more and that's so good, but it's just a shame that so many people live with these thoughts that it is unmanly and it's somehow wrong and to share your emotions, and how it has literally impacted the lives of thousands and millions of people. And like, it is getting better, but there's still like so many, like whole generations of people before who still have this ingrained in them that it's wrong somehow to show your emotions, you know? I just hope and pray that future generations and gonna come after, that they will, you know, move away from this idea that it is unmanly and whatever, because well, it's just not, like like it literally makes no, like, to me it makes no sense at all. How does that connection between manliness and showing emotions? I don't know, I'm just rambling now, but yeah. So if you're watching this and you think for some reason that it's unmanly to show your emotions, well, I personally don't think it is. Ben doesn't. Thousands, millions of other people don't as well. Chapter is about his like campaigning for like mental health first aid training to be part of teacher training. I'm not really explaining that well, but yeah. And since like he's like been to lots of awards and met loads of like celebrities and politicians, and like he was asked to like come into a specific room and talk with Boris Johnson, and he also went to 10 Downing Street to talk with him, and Boris Johnson said that it was vital that that teachers are trained in mental health first aid, and also that school children know like basic like mental well-being advice and stuff. And it was enacted into law in 2020 September that all school children in primary and secondary have a certain criteria of things they have to know about mental well-being, but this is not in the statutory requirement for initial teacher training. And so yeah, you know, like the government's saying like, oh yeah, we agree, you know, it's vital, yeah, but they still haven't done anything. So I don't know if anything's changed at the moment in 2022, but I mean it came out in 2022 anyway, so maybe not yet, but you know, as he says right at the end, get it done. It's been a few days since I last read some of this book, and it's coming to a bit where he's talking about like his like burnout with like university, like doing like conferences and events and like social media, like interacting with like so many people who like coming for help, and he feels like he just like he couldn't have said no to like literally any of it, but he's found some like ways to like help him like self like and to like manage like time and pressure and like mental and physical like well-being basically, and then there's a bit that I just want to like share with you because yeah, it's a bit like really stuck with me. Is about I would encourage all of you to make a list of your achievements if you feel like you're struggling right now, things that you're proud of having done or got through. Too often, especially in our self-deprecating culture, we mistake pride for vanity, because he previously said about like certain things he's done in his life. So I think that's a good point to, if you're feeling like really shitty, which I do a lot, and I know people try to tell me about things that I have done, and sometimes they just fly over my head, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, like it's not that good enough. Maybe it is something I should think about more, the actual thing, like things I have actually achieved myself. And even though just on top of my head I'm like, what have I done? Like, I don't know, I feel a lot of the time I just feel like a failure in a lot of aspects, but yeah, something to think about and maybe do. So I'm on to the next chapter now, and this is to do with like education and after the first lockdown in like September 2020, and how the government said that students can return to university and there'll be a like try and get back to like normal and like one-to-one teaching and stuff, and how so many people were just like had to be isolated, and like mental health was really like ignored for so many people during that period, and there was just so much more emphasis on just like COVID and the pandemic, and not like the pandemic of the mental health crisis. And then sadly, it says in October, so literally like the first few weeks of university, a 19-year-old student named Finn took his own life. It was at the University of Manchester, and then he like made a video on Instagram, just expelling like rage and just anger at the situation, and like the transcript of the Twitter happened. It's really stuck with me. One suicide for a young person is devastating. It is a failure of a system. It is a failure of a government. It is a failure of a university. It is a failure of society. Government is failing at the mental health crisis. They are failing and it's going to get worse before it's going to get better. We need change. We need empathy. We need humanity. And we have none of it with this government. We have none of it with the current leadership, and I am sick of it, because when I spoke to Boris Johnson, when I spoke to Theresa May, when I spoke to Esther McVie, when I spoke to these politicians, they made it very clear to me that it's a priority to them to fix this issue. And yet they accept that the number of young suicides is not zero. They'll put money forward, they'll put money towards reducing that number, but they're ready to accept that it will be a number. Yeah. And I personally really struggled so much since, well, like basically since like the pandemic, like March 2020 up until now still, with like online learning and like education, and I feel somewhat let down with like the support I was given, and that is why I still currently am redoing my second year, because everything just was a lot. And I don't know, just things when it comes to this, when something is really personal to you and you understand certain aspects of these experiences and things, they really do hit you harder. And yeah, I composed myself because I just want to tell you a quote from this book that is exceptionally well penned. We find solutions to the mental health crisis not by focusing on what we already do, but by constantly looking for where we can do more. And this is so true in literally every aspect of our lives, like education, like workplace, like family, like it's just anything that affects us, like institutions and stuff. We always need to be looking for more that we can do to find solutions and better solutions and more help and just everything. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. I did just cry again some more, but this part at the end is just, oh my god, I'm seeing things in my head again. But it's basically, he wrote a letter to younger Ben just after Sam had died by suicide. And yeah, it's it's anyway. I just want to read a little bit because this is like really, like I think this is the main message of the whole book. Like there's a lot there's a lot of messages and a lot that are going to stick with me for a long time, and I will spread to like everyone I know, just to like ingrain like the importance of these issues. But this is, I think, is the main point for me anyway. Obviously he wrote it and he has his own ideas, but that's just my interpretation of what I believe the main point of this book is, in a sense. Anyway, let me just read this to you. So, I'll tell you this even though I know you're going to ignore it. Feelings have to be felt to be freed. Please don't be afraid of feeling them sometimes instead of playing whack-a-mole any time they raise their head. Even if you don't want anyone else to know you're not doing okay, try to be honest with yourself and recognise when you might be feeling a certain way. Just by acknowledging the feelings, they'll become easier to deal with, because you'll start understanding why you're feeling that way, and you'll stop beating yourself up for it. I know you're probably thinking, how pathetic, recognise your feelings, who are you? Well, I'm you. And being told how to deal with emotions was probably the most transformative lesson I've ever had. Honestly, fuck maths. This is so much more important. Yeah. So I'm gonna read the rest of this, and then there's, I don't know if I'm gonna say anything more, but there's useful websites and like reading and stuff, and I'm gonna like take a picture and drop them down in the link below. And I'm gonna write a proper review on my Goodreads and StoryGraph. So this is probably gonna be the end of the video for now. But if you do want to like see my whole thoughts and review, then check them out. I'll link them in the description. But I haven't finished it yet. But I'm just like, this book is exceptionally well written. It's a very tough read, and I did have to have breaks and quite a few days sometimes in between certain parts, because it's a very hard-hitting and personal, some things. But like 5 stars, full 5 out of 5 for me. Like, it's hard to really review a book like this because it's not really made to be reviewed, in a sense. I don't really, if you kind of get what I mean. Like, it's not fiction or anything. Like, it's not like a story. It's, yeah, well, I think it's a 5-star book, and I think you should definitely read this. Yeah, I think I just keep saying yeah now, but this is going to be such a long video. I just realised that. Wow. But read this book. 5 out of 5 from me. I don't want to say I loved it, because I didn't love it per se, but it had a very deep connection to me, and there's some very hard-hitting facts and figures and statistics and things like that, and just messages, and yeah, I truly like, honestly, this book could save your life. It might save my life, it might save other people's life. As long as it helps someone, and it has definitely helped me anyway, as long as it helps someone else, then he's happy. I'm happy so many people are happy. Yeah, that is just, yeah, exceptional. Anyway, hope you're okay. I'm not the best at the moment, but you know, I just have to think about my feelings and stuff, and yeah, and check the links below if you know not feeling the best, and hope you feel better. I hope you're I'm glad you are feeling well if you are, and I hope you feel better soon if you're not. And I love you. You're valid, and yeah, have a great day. Bye bye.